Hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode of Painting with Nerd Knights. Yes, doing Barak. I think that's how you say it. From Chronicles of Drunagor, one of the expansions. First off, I want to say thank you all of my YouTube members. Can't thank you guys enough. You will get early access to this. This video will be on Wednesday, but you'll get access to it Sunday for those who can't wait. You guys are awesome. If this is your first time at the channel, or if you've watched this before, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't hurt. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell so you get alerted whenever we go live with a new video. But without further ado, pretty simple. Let's go. Alright, so my bad, but I had first painted the face or the skin color in Gryph Hound Orange and then forgot to record it. So yeah, that's my fault. So do the face and the arms. I did it thinned with Lamia medium, so 50-50 mix of Lamia medium, and then we are doing all of the massive drab in Screamer pink. We're going to lighten this up here, obviously in the highlights phase, but it is a vast majority of this thing. So if you haven't done it already, make sure that you scrape off all your nasty mold lines, spray paint it in black, or use an airbrush, and then white from above to create that zenithal highlight. Alright, for your staff, we're going to do a skeleton horde on there. And you'll also notice that there are some straps on there, and we'll paint over those with a darker color, so if you get them, it's not a problem at all. Next, we're going to use a 50-50 mix of Wyldwood and Lamia medium on our brown areas, so a little sash area, the wraps around the arms, and there's a little bit on the back as well. For the beard and the eyebrows, we're going to do a thin down Black Legion, so 50-50 mix of Black Legion and Lamia medium, and put that on there so that white sticks through. Gives you that natural highlight. Yay, yes. For the area around the hood and then the little design on the quad area with the pink, we're going to use some Squig Orange. For all of the rest of our skirt area, we're going to use some Gore Grunta Fur. Now, the card art does not show you the bottom portion of what this looks like, so I had to go off the cusp and kind of make it up. And Gore Grunta Fur is a very nice looking brown. It gives you that leathery look, and I think it looks good like this. So we're going to do some highlights on it, but it's nothing too crazy coming up. Alright, we need to come back to the skeleton horde well. That's why I keep all my paints scattered out, because sometimes I realize, oh no, I need to go back to that. So we're going to take that skeleton horde and put it onto that horn on the backside of Barak and around the belt areas, and then the book pages as well. For the metallics, whatever, we're going to use some Iron Warriors. So that is the belt buckle, the pauldrons on both sides, and yeah, just those two massive areas. Now, do be cognizant on those pauldron. There are some bone areas that are sticking out of the top. Those are going to be obviously bone. So try not your hardest not to get onto them, or you have to do a different strategy in painting them. We'll talk about that here in a second. For the back of the leather, we're going to use some Snakebite Leather. You can paint that whole book in this Snakebite Leather color. Pretty simple. And then if you were successful in not painting those bones on the pauldron, you can paint them with some Skeleton Horde. If not, you're going to need to use some Morghast Bone and paint over that metallic that you got on there. Alright, so we don't really have any washes, but if you want to, you can use some Fugan Orange on the skin, and you can also use, if you had to use the Morghast Bone, you can use some Agrax Earthshade, but otherwise we're going to head straight into the highlight step. Alright, we are starting off the highlights of our skin with some Jokaero Orange in the skin. So we're really only hitting the top parts of the nose, the cheekbones, a little bit under the lips, and the lip itself, really. But we're also doing the bicep, the top of the biceps, the fingers, the knuckles, those types of areas. Next, we are going to do some Lugganath Orange, and we're highlighting those same exact areas that you just went over. Now, I did thin this with a decent amount of water to make it a little bit more of a glaze than an actual layer paint, but it is pretty strong. We're also going to use the same color that you'll see here in the next frame onto the orange patterns on the pink and on the hood as well. So make sure you just get those two. You just do some scrapings on there, just do the raised areas, and that should suffice with satisfying our highlight on those as well. Alright, let's highlight up our pink areas. We're going to do a 50-50 mix of Screamer Pink and Pink Horror, and we're really just going over those raised areas. There's a ton. Now, if you really wanted to, before you did this, you could use a Carroburg Crimson on here. You could use, if you want a more deeper purple, you could use Druchii Violet. I decided not to use either of those and just go with highlighting up without any, basically any washes. I think it turns out pretty good in the end, but it is up to you if you want to try to add some more depth into your miniature. But again, it is completely up to you. For a final highlight on our pink areas, we're just going to do some straight pink horror out of the pot, obviously mixed with some water. And we're going over those same areas, just highlighting up those raised portions, giving you a nice pink look on top of that purple. Alright, to highlight up our staff areas, anything that's on the staff, obviously, that's not the straps, we're going to use some Ushabti Bone. You can also do this as a little bit of an edge highlight on those straps as well. Those give it a nice little depth look for it, so it is up to you. I also decided to do this as well with some Ushabti Bone onto the beard. Alright, for our brown areas, we're going to do a glaze of Deathclaw Brown. And what I mean by glaze, I mean take some Deathclaw Brown, put on a wet palette, and load it with water. It wants to be really, really thin, and you want to get all the highlighted areas of this. This will make it, give it a lot of depth. It'll highlight a little bit, but it won't be overpowering. So it looks a little bit bright and watery when you put on, but when it dries, it looks pretty good. Alright, to highlight up our metallics, we are going to do some Canoptek Alloy. Now we're really just doing this on the edges and the raised areas of our pauldrons and our belt buckle. Don't overdo it, don't go crazy with it. You could also do it as a dry brush if you would like, that would suffice as well, but it is up to you. I just kind of went over it with my small brush, getting some of that edging and some of the interior of those pauldrons because it does have a nice little pattern in there. Alright, you're going to first off see my ugly arm, and then you are going to put that on to the bone areas of our bones sticking out of the pauldrons. Coming down to the wire here, we are going to use some white on those letters inside of the book, and then we're going to follow that up with a little bit of a glaze of Pylar Glacier. That is going to be a nice little boost for that. You'll see here in the next frame. Alright, moving on to the base, we're going to do some Basilicanum Grey on the base, and on the rim of the base as well. And finally, your favorite painting, part of painting the miniature. I can talk. No, I can't. We're doing the rim of the base with Abaddon Black. No surprise there. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Barak. Another miniature down for our Chronicles of Drunagor. About 200 to go. So we're going to be painting this for years. Unless for some reason I can retire and just paint full time, then I can produce a lot more videos a lot faster. But probably not. Anyways, thank you again. Thank you everybody for watching. Again, thank you all my YouTube members for watching this. You will get early access to this. This will be a Wednesday video, but you will get it Sunday evening. So yay, you guys. So, all right. Well, again, thank you. If you have any comments, questions, anything you want to see painted, anything you want to see changed, leave me a comment. But until next time, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, paint on.